We are back live. My name is Alan Roberts, and we are about to go over the actual truth about Dr. Mike's The Truth About My Anti-Vax Debate, Part 1. There's going to be multiple parts of this because I basically got 4 minutes into his video and realized that there was multiple points that I needed to correct the sellout bitch-ass Dr. Mike on. For those of you that don't know, I actually, a long time ago, made a positive video about Dr. Mike because he was talking about fat phobia and everything like that. And I did believe I did an anger translation for him. And then in 2020, he showed that he is a bitch-ass fucking sellout to the pharmaceutical industry. And just another reason why doctors are not to be believed is this bitch. I feel very confident in this. And by the way, Dr. Mike or any of Dr. Mike's fans or anything like that, this comes from him like debating 13 people that just sat around and then he kind of acted up like, cute and exasperated and shit like that. I'd fucking end your career in debate. You know that, right? Like, Mike, I hope you understand that. I'd fucking end your career in debate. On this topic, on the COVID-19 pandemic, I would destroy you. I've literally written a book called It Was Never About Your Health, the COVID Pandemic, that has 200 scientific and academic sources that, by the way, any of you can get at any given time you want over at Amazon. You can just go to the link right here. It's in the comments section. It's on ebook, paperback, and hardcover. And it is literally 300 pages of how it was never about your health, the COVID pandemic. And I can back up everything I say with scientific data, the very data that they use, right? So just so everybody understands, I am not just saying that he is a sellout bitch that has no conviction of his words or anything like that, but I'm going to tell you that he never took COVID seriously or masking seriously at all, therefore didn't take any of it seriously at all. Let's just get straight fucking to it, shall we? Before we even get there, before we even get to his portion of this, let's just go out over a few things that Grok has helped me put together about Mr. Dr. Mike Versowski, or whatever the fuck his name is. Oh, here it is right here. This is the one. This is the one. So, Dr. Mike Versowski, a popular YouTube personality and board-certified family medicine physician, has been a prominent voice of health-related topics, including COVID-19, throughout 2020. However, evidence from that year highlights the disconnect between his public statements and personal actions, raising questions about his credibility on the subject. In multiple media appearances on his YouTube channel, Dr. Versowski consistently advocated for strict adherence of COVID-19 safety measures. For instance, in a July 2020 interview with Fox Business with Maria Bartolomeo, he emphasized the importance of mask wearing, stating, "Please, if you're going outside in public and are going to be around other people, wear a mask." Similarly, in March of 2020, interviewed with Anthony Fauci on his YouTube channel, he reinforced the need for masking and social distancing to curb the virus's spread. The statements positioned him as a proponent of cautious, science-based behavior during the pandemic, although none of that was actually science-based. Again, because social distancing was just a number that magically appeared, literally according to Anthony Fauci. And oh, by the way, COVID's a cold. COVID's a cold that was in the United States probably by September of 2019, because it was found in December of 2019 blood samples from donated blood from 5 different spots, 5 different states around the country, thousands of miles apart. So if you take a 2 to 14 day incubation period, and these people already had antibodies for it, meaning they had already fully recovered from the virus and developed the antibodies for it, we are looking at, and thousands of miles between them, we're looking at late September, early in October, at the latest, that COVID-19 was in the United States, which then goes to say that the first wave was between late September, early October, and December, because pandemic waves, like epidemic waves of novel viruses, go by a concept called Farr's Law. Farr's Law is how there'll be a peaking wave, then down, peaking wave, then down, and the waves just get smaller as it goes. So the very first wave, which went by fairly unnoticed, except we thought we were having a bad flu season in 2019, it went by fairly unnoticed, no mitigations, no masks, no lockdowns, no nothing, no social distancing, and it was no big deal. Not until we were told to be afraid of it should we have been afraid of it. However, Dr. Mike was never fucking afraid of it because following the incident, however, in November of 2020, Dr. Mike Versowski's actions appeared to contradict his public stance. He traveled. So this is after 6 months of telling everybody to social distance, wear masks, and can't wait for the vaccine to come out. In November of 2020, Dr. Mike Versowski's actions appeared to contradict his public stance. He traveled from New York to Miami to celebrate his 31st birthday on November 12th, where he's photographed on a boat in the Sunset Harbor, surrounded by 14 people, mostly women, with no mask or social distancing, observing in the images that surfaced. The event, reported by outlets like Daily Hub and NJ1015, occurred at a time when COVID-19 cases were surging. And by the way, don't ever listen to the surging cases thing, especially when we're taking a PCR test ramped up to 40 cycles. They can find a fragment of anything dead in you, a tiny little fragment, and say you have something. It's dumb. Even the creator of the PCR test admitted this. Ranking it up to over 40 cycles, which is basically them duplicating all the DNA that's in a sample 40 times, is going to produce over 50% false positives by estimations. So, and Dr. Mike would know this, but he might know this and just doesn't talk about it, or he would know it if he did like any actual real fucking research, because he's a bitch. This event reported by outlets, blah, 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 blah. While a spokesperson claimed he only removed his mask to enter the water, the crowded setting and lack of visible precautions is a widely circulated. So he's saying he only did this. Really? Does this look like right here that you only did this to enter the water? There are other pictures, I believe. Yeah, there's one. There's Mike trying to look all sexy. Oh, look, more. Like, you're not just getting into the water here, are you? No, you're not getting into the water here. It looks like you're trying to get a little nipplage. That's what it looks like to me. Like, that's all it looks like. There you are again. Oh, such a handsome liar. Believe the good-looking guy. Believe them. Yeah, like, notice how they have to show 3 headshots of him to make him seem more fucking credible. Following incident, Dr. Mike Strzelecki addressed the controversy in a response video on November 27, 2020. Posted on a secondary YouTube account, he acknowledged that his behavior could undermine the public health message he has been promoting, admitting it was a lapse in judgment. It looks like a lot of lapses in judgment. The whole, I'm going to fly unnecessarily just for my birthday, when you're telling people that the most deadly virus ever is killing people at an unprecedented rate, and we should do everything we can to not spread it around, even though for young, healthy people that have, that work out every day, have low body fat levels, a healthy waist to height ratio, they get plenty of vitamin D, we should want them to be in contact with the virus so they can build their natural immunity. That's normally how that shit works at the beginning of a pandemic, an outbreak, where the young, healthy population goes out and gets their natural immunity. So then the people that are self-isolating because they're choosing to, they're not being told to, because being told to is authoritarian, and we should have fucking overthrown every fucking government that did that. But the idea by all of this is that Dr. Mike is a piece of fucking shit and he lies. Period. So anyway, that is the discrepancy between Dr. Mike's advocacy for COVID-19 precautions and his participation in maskless crowd gatherings in 2020 suggests a gap between his words and his actions. When he later expressed regret, the incident provides evidence that his behavior during the period did not fully align with the principles he's publicly endorsed, potentially affecting his credibility. Not potentially, he's not fucking credible. He's just not. He's not credible about this shit at all. So now let's actually get to his video, and then we'll pop back out. Let's see if I can find his video here. Ah, shit. Give me a second. Okay, so we are about to go over Dr. Mike Strzelecki's video. I've got it all. We're finally all set up here. All right, here we go. The truth about, and again, this is his video from the other day. The truth about my COVID-19 bullshit. Blah 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 blah. I find it wild, dude. Like, just so you know, like I do a kind of like, I'm kind of impressed with Dr. Mike, because the ability to just years later look in the camera and straight the fuck lie as if you took any of this shit seriously, even though your own actions show you didn't, that's a special kind of talent. It's a special kind of psychopathy. It really is. Like, you're a fucking sociopath, dude. To be able to lie that fucking easily, it was wild how you're able to lie that easily. Here we go.
Is there anything I could say today that would change your mind?
I'm just asking your opinion.
I'm asking you a question.
Probably not, because I actually read and study.
I would like to give you my knowledge, my experience, and
your experience and knowledge is that what you're taught in your medical school. That's it, right? Like, this assumes that medical school is always right, which we know is very, very untrue.
What I've seen in the hospital system. But if you're telling me right now, no matter what I say, you're not going to change your mind, is there any value to that?
There is no value to that, and people shouldn't be like that. This woman is absolutely wrong, because you should be able to be shown different critical, different data, different data sets, and be able to be shown if he could show the data, which he can't, by the way. That's the thing about this. He can't show the data. Nobody can show the data to say that COVID was a world killer. Nobody can show the data to say that we should have even done anything, because very frankly, there is a study on seroprevalency, which is basically an antibody study to show how many people have already had something and gotten over it. And that is on the World Health Organization website. It was done in early 2020 by Dr. John Ioannidis, the most published scientist in the world for public health, by the way. And it shows that the infection fatality rate is about 0.05 to 0.1, in line with the seasonal flu. It's reality. We should have done nothing, especially considering, as I've discussed earlier, that the initial wave was in 2019. It was probably September, early October of 2019, because we see blood samples from donated blood in December of 2019 in America, meaning it had already been circulating fully in America for several months and already got past its first wave. Like, reality fucking exists. Like, if it was, and I know people don't like to admit this, nobody could debate me on this because of that. Like, you'd have to agree. Like, we didn't need to do mitigations. You know why? We didn't do them for the first fucking wave. It didn't fucking matter. It's fact. That's reality. Like, the blood samples being found in multiple spots around the United States prove the first wave was in 2019, and we did nothing about it. You were only afraid of it once you were told to be afraid of it. Anyway.
I had a debate with 17 vaccine skeptics on Jubilee's Surrounded series, and it went on for 3 hours. It was an interesting experience for me. I learned a lot, as well as gained very valuable experience. But there were about 5 points that I felt were being repeated that I want to address today. Huge thanks to Ground News for sponsoring this video.
My third child, he got a vaccine that the doctor said were safe that caused him brain issues for the rest of his life, and he has arrested hydrocephalus.
Gave vaccines to the baby, and the baby had seizures.
My mother was vaccinated with the flu vaccine, and right after 3 days later, she received half of her face was paralyzed.
A through line through many of the conversations was people sharing anecdotes of someone having a negative reaction to a vaccine. I can't and I shouldn't really fact check that. I took everyone at their word. I thought everyone was discussing all of this in good faith. And then at the end of the day, vaccine side effects do happen. They're incredibly rare, especially serious.
So let's check this out, since he decided to pull this up. You are 65 times more likely to be struck by lightning than to have a vaccine-related injury. Let's go see how the HHS government, how the HHS.gov organization before 2025, when the new administration came in, viewed this. Let's just go check it out, because again, like I said, I'm not going to go through every single one of these today, because we got to have a part 2, because very frankly, I got a lot of shit I got to fucking say. But let's see, which is the one? No, that's not it. This is the one. Oh yes, this is it. The statement: you are 65 times more likely to be struck by lightning than to have a vaccine-related adverse event, appears to have been made in the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services as a part of its public communication effort regarding vaccine safety. Specifically, this claim is featured in the HHS article, "What is the Truth About Serious Adverse Reactions Related to Vaccines?" published on December 19th, 2024. on the HHS website under the Let's Get Real series, the article does not attribute the statement to specific individuals within HHS, but presents it as an official agency statement. So there is no author attributed to this. This is just the statement of the HHS. When was it stated? It was stated in December 19th of 2024. And who said it? As noted, it's just the HHS. What data was used? The HHS article does not explicitly detail the precise data source for calculations behind the 65 times more likely. Kind of like 6 feet to slow the spread. You know, they just say it without actually fucking proving it, right? Because they produce no data to show their shit. Like, it's amazing. Like, the science people don't actually present the fucking science. But it provides contextual clues. It states that the risk of serious adverse effects from vaccines is extremely low and varies from vaccine to vaccine. But in general, it's about 1 to 2 in 1 million doses. This figure aligns with commonly cited estimates for severe allergic reactions, anaphylaxis for vaccines, as supported by various studies and federal monitoring systems like the adverse, like VAERS. So. To estimate the likelihood of being struck by lightning for comparison, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, an agency under HHS, has estimated the odds of getting struck by lightning in any given year at approximately 1 to 500,000, based on data from the National Weather Service and population statistics. So if we take the vaccine-related adverse risk at 1 to 2 per million, let's use 1.5 per million as the midpoint for simplicity, then compare it to the lightning strikes of 1 per 500,000. Lightning risks 1 out of 500,000 is 0.000002. Vaccine adverse events is 0.00000015. And the ratio of those two is 1.33, meaning a person is roughly 1.33 times more likely to be struck by lightning than to experience a serious vaccine adverse event per the raw probabilities. However, the 65 figure suggests a more specific adjustment to the HHS wave, using a different baseline for lightning strikes, such as lifetime odds, cited as 1 in 15,300 by the National Weather Service, or roughly 65 per million over an 80-year span. Now, where this falls down, by the way, is that you receive more than one vaccine. And most people receive a vaccine every single year, like the flu vaccine or some other vaccine. So therefore, you have to do it year to year. So at best, it's 1.33. It's basically a fucking bold-faced lie by HHS that this motherfucker has no fucking understanding of, because he didn't do any of his research, because he is doing what he was trained to do. As a doctor, you are trained to not question the medical authorities and just be a mouthpiece and drug dealer. And that is what he is fucking doing. Period. Let's see here. So that's that. Now, I wanted to go over one other thing too, because this kind of let's actually get back to this, because it's in the first couple minutes of his speaking. So I might as well keep going with it. Let's see here.
Serious ones, but they do happen. In fact, I had to highlight this during the episode, that when you compare how pharmaceuticals are treated in research versus vaccines have such a higher level of scrutiny because they're given to healthy patients, as opposed
It's completely untrue. Completely untrue.
to pharmaceuticals. We allow a chance of higher rate of side effects because we're getting the trade-off of a major benefit. When someone tells us that they started experiencing a medical condition after getting a vaccine and they attribute it to a vaccine, I think you need to be very careful and think, yes, about correlation and causation, whether or not two things happen at the same time or one caused the other thing to happen. A great image representation is this.
So notice how he's looking all fucking smug there. Correlation versus causation. Correlation versus causation. Well, if you want to dismiss correlation versus causation, I mean, just so we're clear, Doc, if you would like to, talk about that, correlation versus causation, here is the things that we can no longer assume true. That smoking causes lung cancer, because the decades of epidemiological studies show a strong correlation between smoking and lung cancer. However, no randomized controlled trial has directly proven causation and the biological mechanisms of it. And they are inferred from correlation in lab studies, not direct human causation experiments. High blood pressure and heart disease. Observational data links hypertension to increased risk of heart attacks and strokes. But while treatments lowering blood pressure reduce risk, the causal chain, arterial damage, is often assumed from correlation, not proven in every individual case. Cholesterol levels and cardiovascular disease. And this is even more lately, but the population studies correlate a high LDL cholesterol to osteosclerosis and heart disease. But direct causation is inferred from correlation in animal models, not universally proven in humans throughout controlled causational studies. Alcohol consumption and liver cirrhosis. Heavy drinking is strongly correlated with cirrhosis in observational studies. No randomized trials assign humans to excess alcohol intake, and the causal link is inferred from correlations in biochemistry. Let's see, diabetes and kidneys failure, long-term hyperglycemia, high insulin levels, correlates with renal damage in diabetic patients. Its causation is assumed from observational data and animal studies, not directly proven in control human experts. Sun exposure and skin cancer. No randomized trials expose humans to UV light to prove causation and mechanism are inferred from correlation labs. Air pollution and respiratory disease. Causation is based on population-level correlations, not direct human experiments isolating pollutants as a sole cause. Sedentary lifestyle and obesity. No randomized trials force people into sedentary lifestyles to prove causation, and the link is inferred from correlations. Poor diet and type 2 diabetes. Causation is assumed from observational data and metabolic studies, not directly proven by assigning diets in controlled human trials. And stress and mental health disorders. No experiment randomly assigns stress to prove it causes these conditions. Whenever a doctor says, like, well, there's correlation and causation, when anybody ever says that to you, it eliminates a huge portion of medical science. So when a doctor says that, they're just saying that their education is in fact fucking worthless then, because their education is built off of correlation and causation. That's it. Yes, there's hardcore science, like we know what's in stuff, but almost every chronic illness that's treated is based off of correlation, causation, and then them trying to find a way to mitigate the causation. That's it. That's all. Like, for a doctor to say, well, correlation and causation, look at my cute little sign here. Look at my cute little thing, smug look. You look like a fucking idiot. Like, let's pull him up. Actually, wait, I wanted to check out one more thing. We'll check it later. Let's pull him up. Look at this smug ass fucking look. Look at this smug ass look. You just proved that diabetes isn't caused by sugar. Same fucking thing. Like, it's wild to me how they fucking gaslight stupid fucking people. Correlation versus causation. We can't really trust it because correlation versus causation. Shut up, you hoe. You lying sack of fucking shit. Are you fucking kidding me? Do your fucking research, bitch.
I'll give you another second. Is this?
Yeah, I'll give you another second. You're full of shit, bitch.
And also think about the natural incidents. For example, people who are 60 plus years of age have heart attacks. Now, if someone was to get a vaccine and then have a heart attack a week later.
Yes, but we're not actually talking about a vaccine.
Was this a natural heart attack or a vaccine-caused heart attack? How would we know? We would study those who have gotten vaccinated versus those who haven't and compare that natural incidence versus the incidence of people who have had vaccines. And if that rate goes up, now we start getting worried, we start investigating, we issue warnings. We've actually issued warnings about vaccines in the past because of the careful monitoring.
But we're not talking about a vaccine.
We do as a form of post-market surveillance.
Risk versus benefit, correct? Maybe you can give your viewpoint, whether maybe you're for or against a court order.
Well, risk versus benefit, he very clearly knew that COVID was not some world killer, or he wouldn't have gone partying. I mean, he can't possibly say that any of this was warranted because he felt it shouldn't apply to him. He has no credibility whatsoever. This smug ass bitch wants to stand up and fucking bullshit lie. Again, great job showing just your fucking takes, but I'd destroy you, Doc. I would destroy you in debate about the COVID pandemic, how we handled it, when it started, the proper steps we should have taken, all the way to the vaccine, which, by the way, the vaccine is not a fucking vaccine. I've said this a billion fucking times, and I'm going to say it a billion fucking times more. It is not a vaccine. It is a goddamn gene therapy. Anybody, and I'm sorry, it's just not even a fucking question. So here we go. To address whether the mRNA Pfizer therapies for COVID-19 qualifies as a gene therapy rather than a vaccine under pre-2020 scientific and academic definitions, because if you just change the definition of something to suit what you want, that's not it actually being that thing. That's you being a bitch. Pre-2020 definitions of vaccines, before 2020 vaccines were consistently defined in scientific and regulatory context as biological preparations containing an antigen, typically a weakened or inactive pathogen, or a component thereof, a protein subunit, that sort of thing, intended to stimulate an immune response to confer immunity against specific infectious diseases. For instance, the World Health Organization, in its pre-2020 documentation, described vaccines as products that stimulate a person's immune system to produce immunity to a specific disease, protecting from that disease. That is their definition pre-2020. They changed it, of course, to say anything we inject you with that we tell you will be good. That's pretty much the definition they changed it to, is that anything that they tell you is healthy for you, that you inject in yourself is good. That's the new definition. For instance, the World Health Organization in pre-2020 described the vaccines. I already read that portion, blah, blah, blah. Typically involving a killed or weakened form of the disease causing organisms or its toxins for its surface proteins. Summarily, the U.S. Code of Federal Regulations, Title 21, pre-2020, defined vaccines as products containing immunizing agents for prophylaxis against infectious disease. Crucially, these definitions emphasize the direct introduction of an antigenic substance into the body, not the instructions, not instructions of the body to produce it. Pre-2020 definition of a gene therapy. Gene therapy, by contrast, was defined in pre-2020 as a therapeutic approach involving the introduction of nucleic acids, DNA or RNA, into a patient's cells to alter gene expression or produce a therapeutic protein, typically to treat genetic disorders or diseases caused by defective genes. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration in 2018 guidance described gene therapies as products that mediate their effects by transcription and or translation of transferred genetic material, aiming to regulate, repair, replace, add or delete a genetic sequence. The European Medical Agency similarly classifies gene therapy medicine products under Regulation EC number 1394/2007 as biological production containing recombinant nucleic acids intended to manipulate genetic expression for therapeutic purposes, explicitly distinguished from vaccines against infectious disease unless they met specific criteria for genetic modification. The Pfizer therapy uses messenger RNA, mRNA, encapsulated in lipid nanoparticles to deliver genetic instructions to human cells. The mRNA encodes the SARS-CoV-2 spike protein, which is just stupid to me, by the way, which once translated by the host cellular machinery is expressed as an antigen to trigger an immune response. Unlike traditional vaccines, this one does not contain the antigen itself, which is why they tried to change the literal fucking meaning of it, but instead relies on the recipient's cells to produce it, making it a gene therapy. This mechanism introduces nucleic acids to direct protein synthesis, mirrors the foundation principles of gene therapy. The arguments aligning with gene therapy definition. Although the principles of action of COVID-19 mRNA vaccines correspond to the definition of gene therapy, they have been excluded from the regulation of GTPs by the regulatory agencies, the FDA and the EMA, Pre-2020, GTPs were defined by their use of nucleic acids to introduce cellular production of a protein, precisely what the jab does. The paper notes that Moderna's 2020 SEC filings acknowledged currently mRNA is considered a gene therapy by the FDA, reflecting an understatement consisting with pre-2020 FDA classifications of mRNA-based interventions as gene therapies. Biotech founder Ugur Sahin in a 2014 article similarly expected mRNA drugs to be classified as gene therapies, biological or somatic cell therapy, reinforcing misalignment. The only reason why they called it a vaccine is to avoid the hesitancy people would have by taking a gene therapy. That's it. It's the first of its fucking kind gene therapy to try to get your body to produce a certain protein to help fight off the symptoms of a cold, which is the most accurate statement that has probably ever been said when Dr. Mike Wachowski's involved. This is a gene therapy beyond a shadow of a doubt. There's no way. Deviations from it, the WHO draft guidance, post-dating pre-2020. So they changed it, in other words. So they changed the actual fucking definition. The conclusion, or we can do countering the vaccine narrative. Assertions of the jab is the vaccine elicits immunity, which it does not. It does not elicit immunity. Ignore pre-2020 definitions. It does not elicit immunity. You are not immune to it. You can still get the virus, transmit the virus. It is just supposed to suppress your symptoms, which it really doesn't do either. Like, reality exists. And I would love, and we're going to go over some other points from Dr. Mike Wachowski. But for right now, I would absolutely love to do a little bit of Q&A with you motherfuckers about anything health, weight loss related, that sort of thing. And then we can go from there. But I will say this one more time for everyone that wants to know. I would challenge not only Dr. Mike Wachowski, but any of these super popular bullshit motherfucking doctors or PhDs that are trying to pretend that COVID was this world-killing virus that we completely handled correctly because we needed to make sure that, grandma didn't die and that it was the most deadly thing we've seen in forever and blah, 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 all that bullshit. I'd love to wreck your motherfuckers' careers. So come on with it and debate somebody that's literally written a book on the topic. And trust me on this, you would end up ruining your fucking career. I'd own you. It is not defendable. Like, it is not. If for no other reason than we did not do fucking jack shit about it when it was here in 2019. We did jack shit. Nobody fucking freaked. And it just fucking came on. Only until we were told to be afraid of it. And they showed the little fucking death ticker of the deaths on the fucking thing that they were attributing, which, by the way, were people that, of course, yes, elderly people that passed away over the age of life expectancy with 4 serious comorbidities, which is the vast majority of people that died from COVID or even with COVID. Of course, some of them did pass away from COVID, but we were counting gunshot victims, car accidents, those sorts of things as COVID deaths to inflate that shit. This was not a world-killing, super deadly virus. This was an attempt at basically political takeover to take rights away. Get there faster. I will argue with anybody. I will debate it with anybody because it was not a deadly virus. And I give our public health officials, and shit, I even give Dr. Mike even credit for being smart enough to realize that it wasn't and that masks didn't do shit and that we should have never locked down for any fucking reason ever because that was dumb and the fucking second peak was already over when we fucking locked down. It is just ridiculous to even state. I would gladly debate any motherfucking buddy on this goddamn topic and end their goddamn careers. But let's just do Q&A. Let's see. I had it once, lost taste, smell for 30 days, and altered taste for about a year. That's it. No other symptoms. My very unhealthy father didn't even get it. He's the epitome of the C19 high risk. Well, I'm glad he didn't get it. I'm glad you're doing good. I'm a 4'11" woman now, 151 pounds from 180. I have 30 pounds to go. I've gone down from a 3X to an XL. That's fucking great. Everybody congratulate Norma. Good job. Good goddamn job, Norma. One more time, folks, if you want to understand all the stuff that's Dr. Mike's video. You can fucking go check that out. I fucking put that in there by accident. If you want to go check out all the stuff I'm talking about, you can go buy my book. at Amazon. Here's the link, or you can sign up for our coaching. We do daily communication, weekly video conferences. I don't know why that's working like that. I forgot to take some shit out of there, apparently. I know what I forgot to take out. And there we go. That should be, oh, nope, still not good. God damn, motherfucker. Anyway, go get the book. It Was Never About Your Health, the COVID Pandemic, at Amazon, ebook, paperback, and hardcover. Or if you are having a hard time with your lifestyle, if you know that it is your lifestyle that is causing you to lose and regain the same amount of weight over and over and over again, we can help you. My name is Alan Roberts. My wife and I run a coaching business that helps people lose weight and keep it off for the entirety of their lives. I myself have lost over 100 pounds and kept it off. I am binge free 4 years, 2 months, and I'm reaching up on 21 days right now. Fucking wild. God, I can't even believe it. It's just amazing. But please do check this out. Daily communication, weekly video conferences. You have your own private chat in our app with Crystal and myself and you. That is it. Plus, you get to use everything else on the app. Please do check that out. And let's see. I would have loved to see a debate with Alan and Mike. They won't do it. They won't do it. They know I'd wreck them. They know I'd wreck them. It can't be argued. It just can't be. Isn't it interesting that the death counter disappeared under Sleepy Joe's regime? No shit. No shit. For real. 100%. Give me a second. Give me 1 second. All right, folks, since we're not getting a Q&A, like I said, I'm very, thank you very much for joining me. I might be back later. I doubt it, but we will be back for evening rants this evening. So check us out. Talk soon. God damn.
The Holy Trinity Bundle isn't just about weight loss. It's about empowering you to find your healthiest, happiest self. Let's talk about what's in the bundle and how it caters specifically to our needs. First, we got Ember, which is not just any fat burner. It's also going to boost your mood, your energy levels, while also suppressing your appetite. And if you're worried about it being too strong, you can split the tablet in half to tailor its impact. Next, we have Alchemy NCT, which turns the carbs that you eat into energy and not fat. Yes, energy, not fat. This is our way of making sure that the meals that you eat contribute positively to your weight loss journey. And girls, we all know that we want that. And finally, no morbidity. This one's my favorite because it works while you sleep. It burns fat and controls those nighttime cravings without any stimulants, so you wake up feeling refreshed. Try it out and feel the genuine difference. Here's to new beginnings and real results.